Leading the faculty and emeriti of Cal State L.A. are the Academic Senate Chair Kevin Baskey and the Faculty Grand Marshal Stephen Clausen. Now, welcome Cal State L.A.'s First Lady, Debbie Covino, leading the alumni, faculty, and staff mentors and their student mentees. Now, welcome Cal State L.A.'s First Lady, Debbie Covino, leading the alumni, faculty, and staff mentors and their student mentees. Entering next are past recipients of the University Alumni Award. Please welcome the platform party composed of CSU trustees and presidents. Please welcome from the California State University Board of Trustees, our Master of Ceremonies, Trustee Lou Monville.
Well, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the investiture of the 7th president of California State University, Los Angeles, William A. Covino. We will begin with our national anthem. Will the audience please rise and remain standing for the presentation of the colors? The colors will be presented by the Marine Corps Color Guard of the Wounded Warrior Battalion West.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's thank the Marine Color Guard of the Wounded Warriors Battalion West. And would also like to thank Renee Sousa and the Cal State L.A. Wind Ensemble led by Assistant Professor Emily Ross. Thank you. Emily Moss, excuse me. At this time, it is now my honor to introduce the members of the platform party. I would first like to recognize the co-chairs of this investiture who had the overall responsibility for this week's events. They are Professor Emerita of Education Nancy Hunt and the Dean of the College of Arts and Letters, Peter McAllister. Please join me in thanking them for putting together thanking me. I'd like to thank them for putting together such a wonderful week of celebration for this wonderful campus. Thank them both. I would now like to introduce, as a group, the college deans, the director of the Honors College, and the university librarian at California State University, Los Angeles. Would these individuals please stand and be recognized? You may be seated. Thank you. I would now like to introduce the vice presidents, associate vice presidents, and other campus administrators of the platform party. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you. We are very fortunate to be joined today by several presidents, former presidents, and representatives of the California State University, the campuses, and the Chancellor's office. Please rise after I call your name and remain standing, and the audience Please hold your applause until you have been recognized. This is the first test of the day. I failed mine already, so. Executive Vice Chancellor Fran Vergy. President of Sonoma State University, Ruben Armañana. President of CSU Dominguez Hills, Willie Hagan. Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at CSU Sacramento, Federica Harmson. President of my alma mater, California State University San Bernardino, Tomas Morales. President of Cal Poly Pomona, J. Michael Ortiz. President of San Jose State University, Mo Kayami. President of CSU Channel Islands, Richard Rush. Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at CSU Stanislaus, Jim Strong. Provost at Fresno State, Lynette Zelenzi. President Emeritus of Fresno State, John Welty. And the President Emeritus of Cal State L.A., James Rosser. You may be seated. We also want to welcome the leaders and representatives of our regional and state higher education partner institutions. Please, as I call your name, and again, audience, please hold your applause until they have all been recognized. Chancellor of the Los Angeles Community College District, Adriana Barea. Provost of the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science, Mary Boyce. Trustee of the Glendale Community College System, Anita Gabrielin. Provost and Chief Operating Officer of Western University of Health Sciences, Gary Galuchuk. Alumni representative of the University of California, Los Angeles, Rita Ledesma. Trustee of the Azusa Pacific University, Michael Lizarraga. President of Moore Park College, Bernard Luskin. President of East Los Angeles College, Marvin Martinez. President of Los Angeles City College, Renee Martinez. Alumni representative of the California Institute of Technology, Allison McCurdy. President of the University of Southern California, Max Nikias. Vice President of the Administrative Services at Orange Coast College, Richard Pagel. President of Pacific Oaks College, Izat Perina. Trustee of the Los Angeles Community College District, Nancy Perlman. Alumni representative of Stanford University, Beverly Patricia Ryder. And trustee of the Los Angeles Community College District, Scott Zavoinkin. Your applause, please. That is a remarkable turnout. I'm sure President Covino appreciates that a great deal. Thank you. I'm pleased to introduce two fellow members of the California State Board of Trustees, my friends and my colleagues, student trustee Talar Alexanian and trustee Lillian Kimball. They're the two that keep me out of trouble. In December of 2012, Timothy White became the 7th Chancellor of the California State University. Please join me now in welcoming Chancellor White. I know it is especially meaningful for President Covino to have so many family and friends join in today's ceremony. Please welcome as members of the platform party, the First Lady of CSU L.A., Debbie Covino, and the President's son, Christopher Covino. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize elected and appointed officials who are in the audience today. These include the Mayor of the City of Pasadena, the Honorable Bill Boggard. Council Member of the City of Monterey Park, Peter Chan. The Member of the State Assembly from the 49th District, the Honorable Ed Chow. The Chief Executive Officer of the County of Los Angeles, Bill Fujikoa, excuse me. Sorry, Bill. State Assembly Member of the 51st District, the Honorable Jimmy Gomez. San Fernando Councilmember Robert Gonzalez. The Mayor of the City of Sierra Madre, the Honorable John Harbidian. Councilman for the City of Los Angeles, Council District 4, Tom LaBonge. General Counsel of Venezuela, Tibise Lugo. From the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Gloria Molina. Consul General of Mexico for Educational Affairs, Gaspar Orozco. Deputy Consul General of Israeli, Yuri Resnick. Israeli Director of Academic Affairs, Joshua Hoyt. Israeli Director of Community Affairs, Erica Thornburg. Council Member of the City of Commerce, Denise Robles. Mayor of the City of Alhambra, the Honorable Stephen Sham. General Counsel of Mexico, Carlos Sada. Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Huntington Beach, the Honorable Joe Shaw. Congresswoman Diane Watson. LAUSD Board Member Steve Zimmer. And last but not least, Monrovia Unified School Board Member Alex Zucco. Thank you all for joining us on such a wonderful occasion here at Cal State L.A. As part of the investiture celebration, it is customary for elected officials, a representative from the President of California State University, and members of the campus community to provide greetings to the new president. The Honorable Eric Garcetti, the Mayor of the City of Los Angeles, wanted to join us today but was unable to do so. However, he does bring greetings on behalf of the City of Los Angeles through this video presentation.
Hello, I'm Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. As the first investiture at Cal State L.A. in 34 years, today represents a new era for this vital and vibrant Los Angeles institution. Today, we formally welcome William Covino as president of Cal State L.A. Bill, you have already established yourself as a leader here in Los Angeles' civic life and have shown through actions, not just words, what a university dedicated to engagement, service, and the public good looks like. I look forward to working with you as you build the Cal State L.A. of tomorrow. Congratulations.
Next, it's my pleasure to bring greetings to the new president. On behalf of my colleagues at the California State University Board of Trustees, I want to welcome all of the members of the California State University Los Angeles community who have joined us here today. I'm honored to be here with my fellow trustees, Lillian and Talar, and on their behalf and our full board of colleagues, we are just so pleased to be able to share and celebrate such an important milestone for President Covino and this university. We are so pleased that President Covino has become a part of the CSU Los Angeles family. Presidential inaugurations are a time of promise, a time to look forward, and a time to acknowledge this president, this university, and all that they mean to this vibrant and diverse community. It is indeed a joyous occasion that brings us all here today, and I'm honored to offer President Covino, the Board of Trustees, greetings and best wishes for every future success. The California State University system is the largest system in the United States, with California State University Sonoma one of those 23 campuses. On behalf of the 22 other presidents, Ruben Armiñana, president of Sonoma State, will present greetings. Please welcome President Ruben Armiñana.
Good morning. On behalf of the 22 presidents of the California State University campuses, I bring to you President William A. Covino our joyful greetings and best wishes for a most successful tenure leading California State University, Los Angeles. For the past 8 months, we have truly enjoyed our association with you in the meetings of the Council of Presidents, the Board of Trustees, and many other occasions in which we are together. We have experienced your keen analytical mind, knowledge of the academy, wise comments and suggestions, and total commitment to the values and mission of the California State University, and your dedication to all our students. Your behavior exemplifies your commitment to the 3 priorities of the university's strategic plan: student success, community engagement, and collaborative culture. We have also experienced your capacity for leadership, well-timed sense of humor, and your kindness. We not only have become colleagues, but more important, friends. You have our respect, admiration, and best wishes. Cal State L.A. is in good hands. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Kevin Baskey, Chair of the Academic Senate and Professor of Communication Studies, with greetings from the faculty.
Thank you, Trustee Monville. On behalf of and with the faculty, I wish to welcome all of you to our campus and this wonderful event. I think we can all agree that a university is only as strong as its faculty. Well, President Covino, I can state without reservation that the faculty at Cal State L.A. are outstanding in teaching and professional achievement. The faculty also know, through their engagement with students in their classrooms and labs, in their art studios and concert halls, in their research, scholarship, and creative endeavors with students, that they make a difference in the lives of their students, in the community we serve, in the state, the nation, and the world. President Covino, we officially welcome you, we congratulate you, and we commit on our part to walk together boldly into a future of opportunity and promise. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Baskey. Please welcome now Louis Atuzana, President of the Associated Students Incorporated, with greetings on behalf of CSULA students.
Good morning. It is an honor to be here today on this special occasion to commemorate the presidential investiture of Dr. William A. Covino. President Covino, Chancellor White, faculty, staff, and distinguished guests, this afternoon, I bring greetings to you on behalf of Cal State L.A.'s 23,000 students. President Covino comes to our campus at a time where Cal State L.A. is undergoing much change. We see an environmental change in sustainability with the opening of Cal State L.A.'s hydrogen station and research facility, and the unveiling of the aquaponics urban farming system at the CSULA Urban Garden. We see change in diversity and social justice with the addition of ethnic studies courses as a general education requirement that is reflective of the diverse student population at Cal State L.A. We see much change in the student population itself, becoming actively involved with campus issues and co-curricular activities on a campus that's infamously known as a commuter school. We, the students, are committed to making Cal State L.A. a student-centered campus, a campus that every student can call their home. President Covino's active engagement with students on a personal level in his first year alone shows us that he is committed to spearheading the vision of a student-centered campus. President Covino is the administrative change that this university needs, and just as we, the students, welcome the change our university has gone through so far, we are proud to welcome Dr. Covino as the 7th president of California State University, Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis, and thank you for your continued leadership and advocacy on behalf of the students here at Cal State L.A. Thank you. Please welcome Ms. Susie Suji from the Division of Administration and Finance, who will deliver greetings on behalf of the staff. Susie?
Good morning. When the announcement came out that William A. Covino would be our next president, I knew two things. One, his goals would include, in addition to many other things, addressing student retention and graduation, and reaching out to develop working relationships with the campus community. The second thing I knew was I had to prepare for the questions from the staff that I represented while serving on the search committee. The number one request was, so tell me about him. My responses were, he has a good sense of humor, he did a lot of terrific things as provost at Fresno State, and he's going to be a great fit for our campus. Many of you have had an opportunity to meet President Covino, and I hope that you found that his commitment to students is also our commitment, because it will take great collaboration from all of us for our campus to succeed. President Covino, we are honored that you chose our home to be your home, and we look forward to getting to know you as we work together to continue to serve our wonderful students. Congratulations and welcome to Cal State L.A. Thank you.
Thank you. Representing the CSU-LA Foundation, please welcome Mr. John Paul Isaacson, President of the CSU-LA Foundation Board of Directors.
President Covino, Chancellor White, distinguished guests, members of the CSU-LA community, good morning. On behalf of the board of the CSU-LA Foundation, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome Dr. Covino as the new president of California State University, Los Angeles. You know, in common usage, a foundation is something that we lay down to support a great structure. The CSU-LA Foundation supports the university by advancing the educational, the academic, the cultural, and creative activities of this great institution. To this end, the foundation provided the university and its students close to $2 million in support in the past year. The trustees believe strongly in keeping higher education accessible to the highly diverse community that this university serves. We know that stewardship of the foundation's resources is a great responsibility, and we're pleased to tell you that only recently the size of the university's endowment crossed above the $25 million mark, although I understand from comments this morning I should have revised that number upward. And we want to thank all of the donors who have helped make that possible. The trustees also share a great commitment to growing the resources we know are important to the financial, to making California State University an even greater place than it is today. This is President Covino's vision, to make the university a leading university in Southern California, and we look forward to working with him as he takes this great institution to a higher place. On behalf of all of us, the trustees and staff of the CSU-LA Foundation, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you, John. I do want to take a moment to note that John and Susie and Kevin and Peter here on the platform party were just wonderful colleagues to work with on the search committee. And on behalf of all of my colleagues on the Board of Trustees, I want to thank you for all of your work, and I hope you enjoy today as much as I have, because you did a great, great job. So thank you again, all of you. It's now my pleasure to introduce Ms. Marlene Carney, President of the CSU L.A. Alumni Association, with greetings on behalf of the Cal State L.A. alumni.
Good morning, President Covino, Chancellor White, colleagues, alumni, and distinguished guests. I'm a proud alumna of CSU L.A., and today I am honored to be celebrating President Covino's investiture. On behalf of the alumni, I want to officially welcome you and affirm the Alumni Association's commitment to work with you as you lead the university. I value the wonderful education I received at CSU L.A. many years ago, and I know that my accomplishments and success were because of the focused and dedicated leadership of those affiliated with the university. I consider CSU L.A. to be one of the finest educational institutions in the state and nation. These are exciting times and dynamic times for CSU L.A. The Alumni Association looks forward to working with you in creating opportunities and partnerships for our students. We share your vision of helping our students achieve successful and relevant careers that result in a vibrant, prosperous, and responsible community. We know that you are a strong believer in collaboration and partnership, and the Alumni Association will work with you in establishing a vibrant culture of curiosity, creativity, and educational attainment. The CSU L.A. Alumni Association congratulates you today, and we are committed to being an enthusiastic and dedicated partner as we take CSU L.A. to the next level.
It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce Cal State L.A.'s First Lady, Dr. Debbie Covino. Please welcome Dr. Covino.
Good morning. Thank you all so much for being here. I know that your presence means the world to Bill. We both know that many of you took time off from the important work you do in order to be with us. I'd also like to thank Bill's and my families for their support, even during our physical absence when we were away from Southern California working in other places. And I especially want to thank our 4 children, Chris, Nick, Lexi, and Danny, who have always graciously shared their dad with his demanding professional work. Chris is over here, and the others are down over here. When I first heard about the prospect of our coming to Cal State L.A., it was difficult for me not to get very, very excited. Bill and I had been away from Southern California for more than 25 years. And the thought of coming home to Los Angeles, the area where I grew up and where I always felt I belonged, was thrilling, to say the least. As Bill's candidacy to be president progressed, I began to learn more about Cal State L.A. And the more I learned, the harder it became to keep my hopes in check. A campus with views of the beautiful San Gabriel Mountains, located a few short miles from downtown, Cal State L.A. has a proud history spanning nearly 7 decades. Its resources and accomplishments include, but are not limited to, the following: an impressive fine arts complex, which we're all enjoying today, a state-of-the-art forensic science facility, distinction in sea-floor engineering, the development of vehicles powered by alternative energies, a dedicated sports complex, the first Chicano Studies Department in the U.S., a dynamic health services center with its own dentist, optometrist, chiropractor, psychiatrist, and, get this, massage therapist. I think even the faculty have access to that massage therapy as well, so keep it in mind. We have an on-site commuter train station, a highly rated nursing graduate program, an EDD program, as well as a joint PhD in special education. An early entrance program for gifted students, several of whom began their studies in their pre-teen years. I'm even told that one student began at the age of 9 and graduated at 15. Well, and the development of a brand new television, film, and media complex. So excited about that. We've got a public high school for the arts, a high school for math and science that's a charter school, the Pat Brown Institute for Public Affairs, a devotion to community service, a vibrant and diverse student body, a world-class faculty, dedicated staff, and accomplished alumni that include some of the most notable artists, writers, athletes, educators, law enforcement officers, and political and business leaders of our time. What's not to love? You truly are golden eagles. I was bowled over to learn all this about Cal State L.A., and I wanted very much to become a part of what goes on here. I learned from my father's example to dream big and to get ahead of myself. So I secretly saw us here from early on in the search process. Even though the far more level-headed Bill has attempted to teach me over the years never to count those proverbial unhatched chickens. Needless to say, now that we are here, I and Bill could not be more delighted about being at Cal State L.A. Set on a bluff overlooking the greater Los Angeles region, Cal State L.A. is like its mascot's nest, the golden eagle's eyrie built in the sky, where golden eggs are nurtured and hatched. When I heard that for many years there had not been a first spouse at Cal State L.A., my mind did a little happy dance. I thought, I've got this. All I need to be is better than nothing. You know? So Joking aside, I want you to know that I am committed to this campus. With Bill, I will be out in the community spreading the word about this great university, helping him to develop new partnerships, and offering our support wherever it's needed. Also, given my work in the mental health field as a hypnotherapist, I'm initiating a campaign to make sure our students know that Cal State L.A. is a caring community. Our students have complex, challenging lives, and helping to increase their capacity for success is a priority for all of us. With the impressive resources of our Student Health Center in view, Bill and I will be actively promoting Cal State L.A.'s dedication to helping students manage the stress that can sometimes stand in the way of their academic performance and overall well-being. Now that I've told you about our commitment to you, I want briefly to say a few words about the man you hired as president. I know he's been looking forward to this part. This puts me in a delicate situation since my view of Bill can hardly be considered objective. But for tricky situations such as this, the oft-heard advice to simply speak from the heart is good to follow. Bill doesn't know what I'm about to say, so please don't think he asked me to say any of it. My late father, upon observing Bill's habits and ways of being, would sometimes turn to me and say, "You married a saint." Well, I agree that that sounds like an inflated claim. So you should know that whenever he said it, my father actually meant it not only as a compliment to Bill, but also as a little dig at me. He's had to be a saint, I think, to tolerate some of the things we've been through. Before I met Bill, he was already widely recognized as an innovative classroom teacher who showed students how to bust out of the ideological constraints that even academia can sometimes impose so that they could find their own creative and unique voices, and to do so in a way that brought them pleasure and joy. This value on his part led to his first book, The Art of Wondering, which he wrote sitting at a folding card table in a small rental unit only steps from Illinois' Burlington Northern train tracks. When a train came roaring past, it was a little bit like the old I Love Lucy episode, in which the turbulence of the passing choo-choo sends the furniture skating across the floor to the other side of the room. The Art of Wondering, like Bill's subsequent books, also exemplifies for students how to find and use their unique voices. Throughout his career, Bill has remained strongly focused on the self-actualization of students, the reason that any university exists. Bill has been committed to the California State University system for 15 years and to higher education for nearly 40 years. Over the 28 years I've known Bill, I've had the pleasure and honor of observing his commitment to academic life. Always hardworking and conscientious, always driven by a desire to do good, always striving to meet the unique needs of each institution he serves. Bill has been not only a professor and scholar of rhetoric, but also a scholar administrator. I say scholar in the same breath with administrator because Bill has always treated his role as a leader with the utmost respect for the obligation not only to keep informed about governing trends, issues, and problems in higher education, but also to be an active participant in shaping higher education. Many have trouble wedding the ideas of a scholar and an administrator, and some even wrongly look upon administrators as detached officials who've traded real and significant university work for something less relevant. Bill was troubled when, in 2000, he became dean of the College of Arts and Letters at Florida Atlantic University and was turned into, as he put it, a the, as in the dean. But he needn't have worried. I saw that he could never become a mere the to those with whom he worked. Bill has always been a colleague to those he's led. He's always given personal and caring attention to the fellow administrators, professors, department chairs, instructors, staff members, everyone who so devotedly serves the universities where he's worked. And I know he will continue this model of stewardship and deliver on its promise even more effectively, given the wisdom he's gained over his long experience in academia. I can't promise you that you will agree with every decision Bill ever makes, but I can promise you that each decision he makes will come only after he's heard and weighed multiple perspectives on the issue, and only in response to what he sees as the best way to continue to enhance the success of this marvelous university. Thank you so much for doing Bill the honor of entrusting him with your special campus. I have the pleasure of introducing today's keynote speaker. We are very fortunate to have with us the 25th United States Secretary of Labor, the first Hispanic woman to serve in the U.S. Cabinet. And a true Los Angeles leader, Hilda Solis. Before serving in President Obama's cabinet from 2009 to 2013, Secretary Solis was an 8-year member of the U.S. House of Representatives. There she represented, with distinction, the 31st and 32nd congressional districts of California, working on behalf of East Los Angeles and the San Gabriel Valley. In Congress, Hilda Solis served the same constituency that Cal State L.A. serves each and every day. These are her communities. Secretary Solis is a native Angelino who grew up in La Puente before graduating from the Cal State system. Currently, she's a scholar in residence at her alma mater, Cal Poly Pomona. Please welcome the Secretary as she joins us in celebrating today's investiture.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Covino. And also, bienvenidos and buenas tardes a todos ustedes. It's a wonderful, wonderful day to celebrate. And thank you again for that kind introduction. It's a pleasure and honor to join President Covino and the Cal State Los Angeles community in this unprecedented presidential investiture ceremony. Over the years, I've been able to see the growth of Cal State Los Angeles, but one thing that has remained consistent is the quality of education. Like President Covino, I was a first-generation low-income college student. I was not academically prepared as many of my other peers at the time, and my family came from a low-income background. I needed to have financial resources to be able to go to college. I was able to obtain scholarships, grants, and financial aid. And with the support of my family and excellent mentors, I was able to break through those barriers, which allowed me and my 4 sisters all to now have attained at least a 4-year university degree. Overcoming my struggles helped me to recognize an important lesson: the necessity of civic engagement through mentorship. Not everyone is fortunate enough to have a mentor. I began developing mentorship relationships when I worked a long, long time ago as a former EOP student. I was a college recruiter for Cal Poly Pomona. I outreached to local high school students and their families to inform them about college resources. And after graduation, I continued working to advocate for equity and access through some of the programs that I was involved in. For example, the California Student Opportunity and Access Program. This community advocacy work would eventually lead me to run for my first public office, serving at the Rio Hondo Community College Board of Trustees. And as a trustee, my goal was to recruit underrepresented students and to get them prepared for college by working with local CSUs. In fact, even this particular campus at the time, various community colleges and school districts. I wanted to demystify that notion that college was only for a few, and make sure that our local community, all of those in our community, would have access and information to be able to go to college. By engaging in the community, we were able to change the lives of students dramatically. And this is not something that just happens individually, because what you end up doing is impacting their families, their neighborhoods, and their communities. This is why I believe so deeply in the power of education and the importance of continuing to fight for equity and access for all. And although we have seen great improvements, we know there's still much more work to do. First-generation college students make up about 1/3 of the student population in our K-12 schools, but they report lower educational expectations than their peers as early and early as 8th grade. First-generation college students are more likely to delay entry into college or drop out completely. They tend to be less informed about college resources. That's why I believe that President Covino can attest to these struggles as well. Cal State L.A. is at the forefront of this educational movement that will help underrepresented students move up the educational ladder. 4-year graduation rates for transfer students at Cal State L.A. have improved by 64%, exceeding the 57% system-wide target set by the chancellor. This is a great accomplishment, but as we know, more work needs to be done, and I believe that President Covino is ready to work hard on creating those opportunities for all of our students. With President Covino at the helm, Cal State L.A. will further increase student participation in education. President Covino is collaborating right now with local businesses to create volunteer opportunities that Cal State Los Angeles students can use for college credit. He's developing a program initiative with LA Unified that will help ensure college readiness and other services to our local high schools. One example is Garfield High. President Covino has already opened the Cal State L.A. Center for Engagement, Service, and Public Good, which will serve as the university's mechanism to affect positive change in the Los Angeles region and link students with community organizations. In addition, President Covino's goal is to extend the Cal State L.A. biomedical corridor and work with ELAC and other high schools around this whole sector. With President Covino, Cal State L.A. will make a good public investment. And I would like to take this final moment to congratulate President Covino for giving me this honor to participate in this glorious celebration today in his presidential investiture. I know he will make us proud, and I know that we will continue to work hard. And although there have been many improvements, we know that we still have more work to do, and he is aptly prepared for this challenge. Thank you and Mrs. Covino for being back home and a part of the LA County community and this institution. God bless you.
Thank you, Secretary Solis. It's now my honor to introduce Chancellor Timothy White of the California State University. I want to thank the Chancellor for being with us and joining us today. Chancellor White.
Thank you, Bill. We'll come up to the right side in a minute.
You want to do the right side?
President Covino, the Covino family, Trustees Monville, Kimbell, and Alexanian, Secretary Solis, President Emeritus Rosser, colleagues and special guests, ladies and gentlemen. As the CSU's 7th Chancellor, it is a profound honor to celebrate the investiture of Bill Covino as the 7th President of California State University, Los Angeles. I often don't get such symmetry in my life. Bill has been a trusted member of higher education and for the last 15 years of the California State University for many years. I believe today his probationary period is over. And if not, I think Susie Sugi has the popular vote to replace him. I think here in Los Angeles we have found the perfect home for Bill's interests, his skill set, his experiences, his passion, his commitment, and his aspiration around student engagement and community engagement and collaboration. He knows the struggles of our students because he was one of them, as many of us were many years ago. He himself is first in his family to have the privilege of attending university. He stands clearly on the mission and vision of this great campus, building on the shoulders of Jim Rosser. At Cal State L.A., using Bill's words, at Cal State L.A., thousands of stories of determination, of struggle, of achievement weave the fabric of a collective narrative that holds the promise of the future. Bill is a wonderful ambassador for this proud and aspiring university, building partnerships with Mayor Garcetti, with USC's President Max Nikias, and I'm very glad that Max is with us today, the CSU presidents and partnerships with the business and education community here in the greater Los Angeles area. Bill, it is an honor to work with you at the CSU, and as we prepare for this investiture, I want to remind everyone that one of Cal State's LA's earlier presidential medallions, and I have Bill's right here, traveled all the way to space. In March of 1995, it took a ride along the Endeavour space shuttle with astronaut and Cal State L.A. alumnus Sam Durrance. How about that? So to quote another astronaut, Bill, we hope that you will wear this medallion proudly and take the aspirations, dreams, and goals of this university to infinity and beyond. And don't space out on us. If I could ask President Covino, Chris Covino, and Trustee Monville to come to stage right, please. Bill. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Say, chancellors are supposed to be able to tell presidents what to do. Get up there. Presidents have a different view on that, but by the authority granted in me by the trustees of the California State University, I hereby invest you, William Covino, with the office of President of California State University, Los Angeles, with all of the honors and privileges, and most profoundly, the authority, responsibility, and accountability pertaining thereto. Ladies and gentlemen, President Covino.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Welcome to our hardworking and dedicated students, our staff members who create a welcoming atmosphere here at Cal State L.A. every day, our distinguished and devoted faculty, our accomplished and loyal alumni, academic, community, and political leaders, family, friends, Secretary Solis, Chancellor White, and CSU trustees Monville, Alexanian, and Kimball. Thank you all for all that you've done and will do to make this a great university. And special thanks to all of you who have worked so hard to make today a great event, and it is indeed a great event. I'm honored to have Jim Rosser here with us on the platform. Over 34 years, he led Cal State L.A. to great distinction, and today we look ahead to a future that will be built on his legacy. So, Jim, thank you very, very much. A special thanks to John Welty, also the former president of Fresno State, for 22 years, a great mentor and friend to me and to so many of us here today. I'm pausing because the teleprompter is mistaken, so I'm going to go to the printed remarks while the teleprompter catches up with me. These things happen in Los Angeles, the land of show business magic. My parents, Jean and Vito Covino, could not be with us today. I hope they're watching the live stream in their home in Thousand Oaks. Without their love and the many sacrifices that afforded great opportunities for me and my sisters, I wouldn't have the privilege of being with you today. My sister Karen is here with her daughter. Our son Danny is taking a break from Cal State L.A. coursework to be here. Our daughter Lexi drove up from San Diego along with Debbie's mother, Bridget Kaslov, and my son Chris, who received his doctoral degree in education this time last year. and flew in from Chicago, represented the whole Covino clan during the investiture a moment ago. Debbie's brother Dennis and his family are also here from Hemet. It's great to see Bob and Paula Chianese. Bob directed my master's thesis at Cal State Northridge. And Don Marshall, who led the English department during my days at the University of Illinois at Chicago. Add to these our favorite neighbors from the years we lived in Reseda, great lifelong friends that I first met at Sequoia Junior High School and Reseda High School in the Valley, and some of the first students I taught as an assistant professor at San Diego State who have gone on to great careers and accomplishments. Thank you all so very much for being here today. And a special thanks to Debbie, whose grace, wit, and devotion make every day new and bright, and who is a terrific cheerleader-in-chief for Cal State L.A. I also want to thank Debbie for recommending that we feature some exceptional mentors and mentees in our processional. These pairs who marched in behind her represent great dedication, generosity, and success. We have Gary Mattis and Diego Campos. Mr. Mattis is a managing director at RSR Partners, and his mentee, Diego, is a senior majoring in criminal justice. Sharon Grigsby and Jessica Neela. Ms. Grigsby is the former Deputy Director of Operations for L.A. County's Department of Health Services. Her mentee, Jessica, is a nutritional science major who plans to graduate next spring before attending grad school. Francis Morelos and Christina Harding. Mr. Morelos is the Director of Financial Compliance at Warner Brothers. His mentee, Christina, graduated summa cum laude from Cal State L.A. in March 2013 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration. Today, she works at Ernst & Young. Liz Herrera and Myrna Compion. Ms. Herrera is Executive Director of El Nido Family Centers, the largest teen and family services provider in California. Her mentee, Myrna, is a sophomore working toward a degree in sociology. Jorge Ramirez and Kimberly Henry. Mr. Ramirez is the CEO and president of Heatflex Corporation. His mentee, Kimberly, is a master's student in our environmental hydrogeology program. She's just 1 month shy of graduation, so I'll be seeing her on the stage next month. Anthony Cox and Nicole Fedor. Mr. Cox is a professor of broadcast journalism at Cal State L.A. He is an award-winning radio and television journalist in Los Angeles with more than 4 decades of experience covering local, national, and international stories. His mentee, Nicole, is a senior who also serves as the president of Golden Eagle Radio. Francisco Cornelio and Micah Zimmermaker. Mr. Cornelio is a Cal State L.A. recruiter, and his mentee, Micah, graduated from Cal State L.A. in 2011 with a degree in sociology and a concentration in inequalities and diversity. Today, Micah is a community liaison with the L.A. County Department of Public Health. Thank you all for being a special part of this ceremony. You are all great examples. Great examples of the ways in which our students follow in the footsteps of success. This has been a great week. We hosted a number of events that underscore our commitment to engagement, service, and the public good. I hope you had an opportunity to attend some of them. For those who did not, let me highlight a few. On Monday, we held the grand opening for our new Center for Engagement, Service, and the Public Good. Headed by Taffany Lim and a wonderful team of faculty, staff, and students, this center will serve as a nexus between the university and the region as we build and cultivate new partnerships and alliances. On Tuesday, we broke ground on the Rosie Casals Pancho Gonzalez Tennis Center that will anchor the Billie Jean King Sports Complex. Yeah, that was great. We were thrilled that Billie Jean flew in from New York to join us for this event. Also on Tuesday, the Academic Senate, eloquently represented by Professor Kevin Baskey earlier, hosted Los Angeles civic leader and icon Maria Elena Durazo. Her distinguished lecture poignantly framed the critical need to engage and serve our community. On Wednesday, we opened the Cal State L.A. Hydrogen Research Facility and Fueling Station. This cutting-edge facility will serve as the next stop along California's Hydrogen Highway and provide students with a meaningful, hands-on education about the technologies of tomorrow. Also on Wednesday, we unveiled the Sharon Daelo Sandoval and David Sandoval Student Services Center. It was our opportunity to underscore our top priority at this university, student success, and thank the Sandovals for their generosity. They have given so much to Cal State L.A., and Wednesday they brought along Los Lobos, so we were treated to that as well. And just yesterday, we visited nearby Garfield High School to announce the Go East Los Angeles Collaborative Project. In partnership with East LA College, the Los Angeles Unified School District, school board member Monica Garcia, Cal State LA will join a cradle-to-career commitment to the success of the students in East Los Angeles. Individually, each of these events represents a step forward for the university within our community. Taken together, they begin to signal the future of Cal State L.A. At our fall convocation last September, I spoke about the importance of engagement as a force that defines our mission as a 21st century public university. By engagement, I mean the active, generous, and often lively interaction with others. I have an example. The brief interchange I'm about to play for you between 2-year-old Leah and her Sicilian great-grandmother, her bisnonna, is both reminiscent of scenes from my own childhood and representative of a type of engagement about which I'll say more after we watch. As you'll see, Leah's impressive attempts to mimic her bisnonna's combination of Sicilian and English suggests that she's acquiring an inside knowledge of family patter. She's already internalized the traditions of her heritage, speaking as she does in that well-known Italian way with her hands. Here we go. Well, we all agree that's a delightful exchange. Through this kind of engagement, which can even seem combative at moments, we become literate. Leah's banter reminds us of how we pick up words, concepts, ways of thinking, kinds of interaction. We adopt the patterns and practices of our families, cultures, and communities. This sweet and comical encounter allows me to focus on a key element of engagement at its best. The idea that interacting with another, with others, may sometimes involve spirited and lively contention, but that the contention should always remain a vigorous demonstration of learning and love, a demonstration of what 20th century philosopher and rhetorician Kenneth Burke calls cooperative competition. More about that in a moment, but first, a little more about Leah. They're talking in the video about Leah's grandfather, who, according to Biznona, talks too much and doesn't listen. Though there are moments when Leah and her Biznona's passionate dialogue does resemble a high-pitched battle, it's also punctuated by moments when Leah's attempts to participate by speaking gibberish are acknowledged and applauded, with Biznona at one point nodding and saying, "Yeah, I know. You know. Biznona then says, "Leah, listen to me," and proceeds to tell Leah that her grandfather is hard-headed, testadura, and doesn't want to be quiet. That sets Leah prattling away again, to which Biznona nods and seems to say finally, "Good work, good work." In my own case, I can compare Leah and her Biznona's encounter to the Covino side of my family. You just take Leah and her great-grandmother, multiply the participants by 10, include uncles, aunts, cousins, nieces, and nephews, triple the decibel and aggression levels, and you have a Covino family gathering. As I've said, engagement sometimes involves scrappy interaction. We all have our own ideas about what's of value, how best to get things done. And these differences can lead to contention, which is a positive and necessary entry into true dialogue. Now, representing the more cooperative aspect of cooperative competition is my mother's side of the family. The Tartaglias were made up of a host of musicians, many of them playing guitar or mandolin. While there was also plenty of hands flying, high decibel talking at family events, they also spoke to one another through their music. They sounded much like this once they were warmed up. The mandolin on the screen belonged to my grandfather, Tony Tartaglia. It sits in my office. It was a staple at family music fests. What I remember most about the Tartaglia musicians is their obsession with being in tune with one another. The mandolin is typically tuned to the guitar, and the guitar is typically tuned by ear. For every 10 minutes of music by my relatives, there was at least 30 minutes of tuning up. This made for quite a comical scene in itself, given that a number of the eldest Tartaglias had some trouble hearing. But I now see that their obsession with being in tune is another important element of engagement, the perennial desire to be in harmony with others. Of course, in order to be fully engaged in the larger human conversation, we need to interact not only within our families, but outside of our comfort zone, outside of what we might call our immediate family. Outside of the family, we encounter others who have come from very different backgrounds and experiences. As university students, we learn about events, values, conflicts, and discoveries from other times and other places. In order to present a picture of how this broader, larger human conversation looks, I return to Kenneth Burke, who offers an anecdote, which I've modernized a bit, that has guided my understanding of engagement throughout my academic life. It goes like this. Imagine that you arrive at a social event. You come late. When you arrive, everyone seems engaged in a heated discussion, a discussion too heated for them to pause and tell you exactly what it is about. In fact, the discussion had already begun long before any of them got there, so no one present is qualified to retrace for you all the steps that had gone before. You listen for a while until you decide you've caught the topic of the argument. You offer your opinion. Someone answers. You disagree with her. Someone comes to your defense. Another disagrees with both of you and your defender. At a certain point, you realize that the topic has taken off in a new direction, right? The discussion continues. People come and go. The hour grows late. You depart. And when you depart, the discussion is still vigorously in progress. Now, for me, this scene described by Burke represents the ways in which engagement can occupy our lives. Like little Leah, we come into the world in medias res, in the middle of things. A great deal of human history has preceded us and has defined the context into which we merge. As we grow and learn, we become more and more practiced in joining the larger human conversation, making our way through ethics, politics, human relationships, values, obligation to others, and so forth. We try out our own arguments and positions, hoping at every point that someone will say, like Leah's Bisnona does, good work, good work. Burke points out that each of us is one voice in a dialogue. Put several such voices together, he says, with each voicing its own special assertion. Let them act upon one another in cooperative competition, and you get a discussion that, properly developed, can lead to the views transcending the limitations of each voice. Through such a dynamic dialogue, we refine and perfect our own ideas and perspectives. We become, in the best of worlds, more sensitive to opposing views, more inclusive of multiple ways of thinking and knowing. This is what a Cal State L.A. experience is and should be, suffused with engagement that begins in classrooms, alive with dialogue among students and professors who address questions that can't be reduced to a simple answer. Put another way, Cal State L.A. should be a prominent site for cooperative competition. Cooperative competition is, of course, an oxymoron. Cooperation would seem to be the opposite of competition. And yet these impulses require one another to be useful to the public good. Cooperation by itself can lead to acquiescence and conformity, the tendency to accept the views or requirements of others without question. Competition by itself promotes an individualism that can lead to injury to others. In such cases, competition becomes a fundamental element of conflict. Cooperative competition, however, requires us to maintain and voice our own perspective. That's the competitive dimension. Here's what I think, right? While also searching for common ground. That's the cooperative dimension. What goals or values can we all agree on? The dynamic energy of cooperative competition should fill our classrooms, fuel our partnerships, drive our scholarship. We want this spirit to prevail throughout the university, within our local communities, across the city and county of Los Angeles and well into the regions beyond. In these places, with a population that represents some of the richest ethnic and cultural diversity in the world, every conceivable challenge and opportunity arises, making our unique milieu a living lab for bringing distinctive voices together in the service of innovation and transformation. What is the relationship then between engagement and service? You know, we have engagement, service, and the public good. What's the relationship between engagement and service? Engagement means sharing a part of ourselves with others, giving them our time, attention, and energy. In other words, an act of giving and sharing is an act of service. Sharing can be easier when we have a common heritage or set of experiences to begin with, but proves to be more challenging when we encounter persons, ideas, and problems that are unfamiliar to us. Faced with the unfamiliar, an engaged person or an engaged organization tries to find what Kenneth Burke calls a margin of overlap, that space in which we can identify with some aspect of the unfamiliar that makes it more recognizable. University faculty often try to develop this margin of overlap by trying innovative ways to make unfamiliar material relevant to students who are experiencing it for the first time. They do so, for instance, by drawing connections with students' personal experience or with popular culture. Here at Cal State L.A. and at a number of other campuses, the faculty also makes material relevant to students by embedding service learning into their courses. One of the great benefits of connecting community service with academic coursework is the discovery of that margin of overlap between what we read and hear in books and lectures and how it is applied and practiced in the larger world. As we get to know others who are devoted to and benefit from community service, we develop an ethic of generosity. We realize that even though we may be from very different backgrounds, times, and places, we all worry about some of the same things, love some of the same things, and face some of the same obstacles. I'm very pleased to say that the Faculty Senate at Cal State L.A. has approved a general education policy which, beginning in fall 2016, will require all of our students to take 2 courses that involve service learning. It's a very good thing. This means that all of our Cal State L.A. students will be performing community service that reinforces what they're learning in their courses, working in agencies that include the Red Cross, the East L.A. Women's Center, the YMCA, the LAPD, the L.A. County Sheriff, Para Los Niños, and more. We'll be expanding our current partnerships to accommodate more than 3,500 students each year, working and learning in the community. We know that students who are engaged in service learning also stay better engaged with their studies and graduate in higher numbers. Institutions that value engagement and service implicitly identify themselves as servant institutions, consistent with the seminal definition of servant leadership that was offered by John Greenleaf in 1972. He says this: caring for persons, the more able and the less able serving each other, is the rock upon which a good society is built. Whereas, until recently, caring was largely person to person, now most of it is mediated through institutions. If a better society is to be built, one that is more just and more loving, one that provides greater creative opportunity for its people, then the most open course is to raise both the capacity to serve and the very performance as servant of existing major institutions by new, regenerative, forces operating within them. With Greenleaf's words in mind and with our defining focus on engagement, service, and the public good, Cal State L.A. will become a regenerative force through the vitality and commitment of our students and faculty, through robust partnerships like the Go East L.A. initiative that we celebrated yesterday, through institutional hallmarks like the Pat Brown Institute for Public Policy, which has reinforced our commitment to civic education and civic engagement for well over 2 decades. Finally then, how are engagement and service connected to the public good? In recent years, the obligation of colleges and universities to advance the public good has been a very live topic. Here in California, accreditation will soon require all universities to demonstrate a commitment to the public good. This will raise important questions about how the public good is best pursued. Professor Craig Calhoun says this about that relationship between the university and the public good in his important work on just that. He says, universities are almost everywhere understood to have public missions. They offer education that equips citizens for occupations traditionally centered on public service. They advance social mobility. They produce new technologies and other innovations. They contribute to both the continuity and creativity of culture. They directly inform the public sphere and also prepare citizens to participate in it. The California State University system in general and Cal State L.A. in particular contribute to the public good in all of these ways, and then some. Some of the officials who are currently contemplating the public good and looking at our universities ask questions about which college majors are most valuable, most germane to the public good. Should we be graduating more artists or more MBAs, more engineers or more criminologists, more scientists or more sociologists? My answer is, as you might expect, all of the above. We need to continue to offer access and success to students with a wide range of interests, abilities, and dreams. And we want to ensure that each of them leaves Cal State L.A. ready to contribute to the public good. How do we help students get ready to contribute? By offering a curriculum that prizes engagement, service, and the public good. Active and engaged learning in the classroom, research that tackles the issues, questions, and problems that occupy our neighbors and our neighborhoods, an ethic of service that entails the capacity to work with and sometimes argue with others to make the world a better place. There is, of course, much to do in order to realize our commitment to engagement, service, and the public good. This is just a beginning. I returned to Los Angeles because it has always been, for me, the land of transformation, where I was transformed into a scholar teacher, and where the public good has always been at the heart of great leadership and great change. I came to Cal State L.A. because we are poised to transform the years ahead as we become more deeply committed to the well-being of our city and our region, more clearly focused on becoming a powerful engine of social mobility, and more fully aware that compassion and caring for one another are at the heart of what education means. Then, thank you. Then, along with Lia's Biznona, we will be able to say to our students and to each other, good work, good work. Thank you.
As we conclude this investiture celebration, please stand and join in the singing of the University Hymn, led by the members of the Cal State L.A. Chamber Singers. Please remain standing at your seats during the academic recessional.